Vikings used a unique way of navigating the seas. The Vikings were able to navigate the open seas using a unique method called sun compass. This method involved using the position of the sun to determine their location and direction, even when the skies were cloudy or overcast. In addition to using the position of the sun, Vikings also relied on landmarks such as mountains, islands, and even the patterns of waves and currents to navigate. They were skilled sailors and navigators, and their knowledge of the seas allowed them to travel great distances and establish trade networks across Europe and beyond. They also used the positions of stars, particularly the North Star, to guide them on their journeys. Viking women had more rights than many other European women of the time. While Viking society was still patriarchal, women had more rights than many other European women of the time. They could own property, make contracts, and even divorce their husbands if necessary. They also played important roles in Norse mythology, such as the goddess Freya, who was associated with love, fertility, and war. Property ownership. Viking women had the right to own property, including land, houses, and even ships. Business and trade. Viking women were involved in business and trade, and they could act as merchants and traders, selling goods and negotiating contracts. Legal rights. Viking women had legal rights and could take legal action, including suing for divorce or compensation for damages. Warrior women. While not common, there are historical accounts of Viking women who were warriors and fought alongside men in battles. Vikings were expert craftsmen and artists. Metalwork. The Vikings were particularly skilled at metalworking, and they created elaborate designs in gold, silver, and bronze. They used these materials to create jewelry, weapons, and other decorative objects. Wood carving. Wood was another material that the Vikings used extensively. They carved intricate designs into wood to create furniture, decorative objects, and even the prows of their ships. Shipbuilding. The Vikings were famous for their longships, which were fast and maneuverable vessels that allowed them to travel great distances. The ships were built using traditional woodworking techniques and were decorated with intricate carvings. Runestones. The Vikings also created runestones, which were large stones inscribed with runic writing. These stones were often used as memorials or to commemorate important events. Overall, the Vikings were highly skilled craftsmen and artists who created beautiful and intricate objects that are still admired today. Their craftsmanship was an important part of their culture and played a significant role in their daily lives, as well as their trade and diplomatic relationships with other cultures. Vikings had a complex belief system. The Vikings believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses who governed different aspects of the natural world and human affairs. Some of the most important gods included Odin, Thor, and Freya. Each god or goddess had their own distinct personality and powers. The Vikings believed that warriors who died in battle would be taken to Valhalla, a grand hall ruled by Odin, where they would feast and fight alongside other heroes for eternity. The Vikings had a significant impact on the English language. The Vikings introduced many words from Old Norse into English, particularly words related to seafaring, warfare, and everyday life. Examples of Old Norse loanwords include sky, knife, and husband. The Vikings also left their mark on English place names. Many towns and villages in England have names that are of Old Norse origin, such as Grimsby, Whitby, and Kirby. Old Norse had a different grammar than Old English, which also influenced the development of the English language. For example, Old Norse had a simpler system of verb conjugation than Old English, which may have contributed to the simplification of English grammar over time. The Vikings' influence on the English language was particularly strong in the north and east of England, where Old Norse was spoken alongside Old English. This led to the development of distinct dialects, such as the Northumbrian dialect, which incorporated many Old Norse features. Overall, the Vikings' impact on the English language was significant and lasting. The influence of Old Norse can still be seen in many English words and place names today.